Local news, national news, even feel-good news, delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO.
Oh my gosh, is it Friday already? I cannot believe how quickly this week has gone by. It has been breathtaking, frankly, how fast this week has gone by. I hope you feel the same way. Coming up in the next hour, we are going to do our Friday night fun and games. And since it is 4th of July weekend, sort of, it's a real bummer, isn't it? The 4th of July is on a Tuesday. I mean, come on. Because you know that the federal holiday is going to be Tuesday, which means most things are going to be open on Monday, but a lot of local businesses will say to hell with it, and they're going to close on Monday and Tuesday. So it'll be like a 4-day weekend for a lot of people. But we're going to do some American trivia in the 6 o'clock hour, as we like to do on Friday nights, as we kind of chill out a little bit on Fridays. And then, of course, we're all back here Monday and then Tuesday. I didn't realize that I made everybody mad at me by volunteering to work Tuesday because I was asked, hey, Joe, do you want to broadcast Tuesday, which is a paid company holiday for us, right? It's Independence Day, and I don't get paid overtime. I don't get paid holiday time. So doing that would truly be volunteering my time. And they said, do you want to work Tuesday to broadcast out at Lake Eola Park for the fireworks show, the fiesta, the fireworks at the fountain? And I said, yeah. I mean, I didn't even hesitate. Yes, I want to broadcast from there. And then the next question was, well, do you want to do the whole 3 to 7 p.m. because Hannity's going to be off that day? And do you want to just do the whole 3 to 7 p.m. instead of 5 to 7 p.m.? And I said, yes, please. I love being on the radio. So if someone offers me more time on the radio, I will most certainly say, yes, I will do that. So Tuesday, I'm going to be out at Lake Eola Park. And I'm told that I'm going to be broadcasting on the north side of the park at what they call the overhang. I'm not real sure what that is. Laurel, do you know what the overhang is at Lake Eola Park? It's on the north side of the park. So it's the side of the park that runs down, I think it's Robinson. So what is the overhang? Is there there's like a little wooden dock there or something in there?
Yeah, or a gazebo or something. I don't know.
So that's where I'm going to be broadcasting Tuesday. But then I'm going to be moving over to the band shell by 9 p.m. because at 9 p.m. we're going to have a little bit of a ceremony there. And then at 9 o'clock, I get to lead everybody in the Pledge of Allegiance, which I'm very excited about doing. And then the fireworks show will start shortly after that. There's a live orchestra. There's going to be live bands out there. It really is going to be a day-long celebration. But I will tell you, please, please, please dress accordingly and hydrate. Mostly water. Alcohol is not going to be a good thing to hydrate with, but it is going to be sweltering hot out there on Tuesday. So if you come out there and join me, and I hope you do, look for me at the north side of the lake while I'm broadcasting live from 3 to 7, and then I'll be at the band shell at 9 o'clock until the fireworks get started, and then I'm going to blend into the crowd somewhere to watch the fireworks. And then I'll just be able to walk home. So, all right, so that's coming up next week and Tuesday. And of course, this weekend, it's going to be hot for us as well. All right, I want to talk. There's a few things I want to talk about here this hour. As always, I've got multiple things. I hope that you guys can open a bunch of tabs in your brains as I do. And let's go multi-tab browsing here on some topics tonight. First, I want to bring up the Amish. Now, for those that don't know, the Amish people are I should have looked up the exact phrasing, but it's a religious sect, right? The Amish people are a religious sect that live mostly in Pennsylvania. They mostly keep to themselves. They mostly live in the olden days. They don't drive automobiles. They have horse and carriage, horse and buggy. They live on farms. They all work together as a community. Honestly, there have been days in the past few years when I've looked at the Amish community and thought, we should all be doing what the Amish are doing. We should live in simpler times than what we've got going on right now. So kudos to the Amish. But the reason why I'm bringing up the Amish is because there has been a major study on Amish communities during the COVID pandemic. And I got to tell you, at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm going to make a confession. I hate making confessions. I'm going to make a confession to you. At the beginning of the pandemic, like I think a lot of Americans, I wanted to believe what the government told us. It started with the Trump administration, pivoted into the Biden administration. It was always Anthony Fauci. But I wanted to believe that the government had some sort of idea of what they were talking about. I realize now, and not just now, I've realized this now for a couple of years, that I was dead wrong in thinking, yeah, we can trust the government on this. We can believe the government on this. And so for all the people who are like, man, I can't believe you got the vaccine, and man, I can't believe you're social distancing, and man, I can't believe you're doing all these things, I feel like I owe some of those people an apology. Now, some of y'all are wackadoos. There's no doubt about that. I mean, some of y'all are just straight up nuts. But a lot of people who were hesitant or refused to get the vaccine, or were hesitant or refused to mask up, or were hesitant or refused to social distance, you guys were on to something. You guys really were on to something. And I'm going to go back. Let's go back to this Amish study and to tell you how I got there. So Amish families did not get vaccinated. In fact, Amish families don't vaccinate their kids for anything. They don't do vaccinations in the Amish family. You know what else they don't have? And I know this is going to be conspiratorial, and I hate to venture into that territory. You know what they don't have in Amish communities? Autism. They don't have children with autism. Is there a connection between them not having autistic residents and them not taking vaccines? I'll leave that to the likes of RFK Jr. and others, other experts in the field. But it is certainly noteworthy that they don't have autism in Amish communities where they don't do vaccinations. So, but most recently here during the pandemic, Amish families did not get the COVID shots. Amish families did not wear masks. They did not engage in lockdowns. They did not engage in social distancing or any other type of restrictions. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, yeah, Joe, the Amish fared better during COVID because they generally don't mingle with everybody else. Well, they generally don't mingle with everybody else, but they still have to come into contact with the outside world from time to time. And it's not like the Amish people didn't get COVID. In fact, in the Pennsylvania community that they studied, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where there are some 45,000 people that identify as Amish, 90% of the residents there contracted COVID. 90%. So an overwhelming majority of Amish people contracted COVID, but unlike the rest of the nation, they didn't have a whole lot of people die from it. The Amish died at 90 times lower rate from COVID than the rest of America. If you're Amish, you are 90% less likely to die from COVID than the rest of America. Now, the study was conducted by the Vaccine Safety Research Foundation, and it specifically focused on the Amish community in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Lancaster has the world's largest community of Amish people. But the Amish people died at a much lower rate than the rest of the country. They basically ignored every single guideline that the CDC gave us. Now, the head researcher says that the U.S. federal government has studied Amish communities for decades without ever publishing a public report. The American government doesn't want you to know how well the Amish are doing without vaccinating their kids. The research leader in saying that the government has been studying Amish communities but doesn't release public reports on it says that publishing such information would be devastating to the CDC and expose their recommendations as harmful to Americans. So I feel like we're back in late 2019 now. If given the option, and I honestly don't know how I would answer this. If given the option all over again as to whether or not to take the COVID shot, would you take the COVID shot? Of course, I'm asking this question of people who did take the COVID shot. I'm certain I would be less inclined. I don't know if I would reject it outright. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. Robert is on the Joe Kelly Show. Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you, Joe?
Excellent.
Going to the comment that you're making about the Amish community, my opinion towards that is that they have a different diet. They don't mingle with people. There are people that are not going there to their community. So I was vaccinated myself, and I got all the vaccines and all that. And so far, no reaction. But again, everybody's systems are different.
See,
and that's the Amish
and Robert,
the Amish community.
That's why I don't
want to say something.
Yeah, no.
The Amish community has a different type of diet. You know, they don't eat all the junk that a lot of people here eat it.
Yep.
So that has a lot of influence too.
Yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. It's an entirely different lifestyle there than what we're accustomed to in the rest of America, which is again why I started the conversation by saying maybe we should all be a little bit more Amish.
Oh yeah, well, a little more cautious what you eat, where you're going, who you're dealing with, handshaking, too close to a person, and they have their own community, which is a little bit of isolated than everybody else.
Oh yeah, certainly is.
That's why. Yeah.
But they're not but they weren't so isolated that they didn't catch COVID. 90% of that community caught COVID. They're not that isolated. So they still caught COVID, but they didn't die from it like we did. They didn't die at the same rate like we did. And you know, I got the Moderna 2-shot vaccine. And by the time the boosters came out, which wasn't terribly long after that, I had already changed my mind. So I was on board for getting the vaccine when it first came out. In fact, my doctor called me and said, hey, I've got a vaccine set aside for you. You need to come in and get this. And I said, okay, I'll be right there. It was my doctor's advice. I was following my doctor's advice. But then as time went on and the boosters were released, by the time the boosters were out, I was done. By the time the boosters were out, I was no longer convinced it was the right thing to do. So I've never had a booster, and I will never have a booster. No boosters for me. I've just had the 2 Moderna shots, and that is it. I am done getting those vaccines. But what about you? 844-580-WDBO. Do you have any regrets? Are you glad you did what you did? Now, here's the deal. I caught COVID, a couple years ago, just like most of us did. I caught COVID. My symptoms were incredibly mild. I got the monoclonal antibodies at Camping World Stadium back before before that was shut down. But I got the monoclonal antibodies, and my symptoms lasted literally a day and a half, tops. And they were very mild. And given my health status of weakened immune system, theoretically, I should have died from COVID. But I didn't, and I had very mild symptoms. So the reason why I'm still kind of on the fence as to whether or not to do it all over again, would I get the vaccine? I lived through COVID, and that's a shocker to me. I was so convinced at the beginning of the pandemic that I was going to die of COVID. I was so convinced. Just, again, given my health history, my weakened immune system, not having a spleen, having cancer 2-3 times, I thought this is it. And, of course, with all the dire warnings in the early days, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm dead. I am a dead man. In fact, I was so certain that I was going to die, I literally stopped paying certain bills because I thought, I'm a goner. I'm not going to bother wasting my time paying all these bills. Oh, man, what a shock it was for me that I survived the pandemic. And then I'm like, well, I better get caught up on paying these bills. So that's exactly what I had to do. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. Or you can use the open mic in the WDBO app.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
So glad you're joining us here on a Friday night. My name is Joe Kelly, and you can join us at 844-580-WDBO. We're talking about the Amish community and the remarkable statistics that while 90% of the Amish community in Lancaster, Pennsylvania contracted COVID, their death rate was 90% lower than the rest of the United States. None of them got the shot. None of them social distanced. None of them wore masks. Let's go to David joining us here on the Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. Hi, David.
Hey, how are you, Joe?
Good.
Good. I wanted to share my experience with getting the vaccine because I saw you were talking about if you regret getting the vaccine or not, right?
Right.
And I am 28 years old. I got Moderna. Now, with the first shot, I had no problem with it. It only happened after when I got the second shot. I had a terrible experience. The very next day, my body was in pain. And I looked into it, and it seemed like it was a cytokine attack.
And do you think that the vaccine triggered that?
I would definitely say so. That it was the very next day that I got the second shot of Moderna, and I said never again. I'm not getting any boosters after that or nothing. It was a little scary because if it would have kept going on, I probably would have ended up in the hospital.
Man, do you have any symptoms to this day?
No, that was the only day. Sometimes I hope nothing ever happens to me, but it was a terrible experience. And I've heard of other people my age saying from the second shot, they experience the same kind of pain, and it's like their body's attacking them.
Wow. David, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm so sorry to hear that. Jim is up next. Jim, you're on WDBO. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, I got the second shot, the J&J shot. I was reluctant for the first one. Never got sick. Never had COVID.
And the J&J shot, as I'm sure you know, Jim, that's the one that they have removed the emergency authorization from. Evidently, that's the least safe of the three shots.
Well, I have to tell you, ever since then, my sense of balance has been slightly off.
Really?
Not horrible, but enough where it gets your attention. I did home inspections for 30 years. During COVID, I was in bathrooms, residences, commercial buildings, the whole 9 yards. Never faulted, never missed a step. Now I'm 70 years old now. Now I'm starting to have some heart problems. And I'm going like, number one, I don't live the most healthy lifestyle. But then you raise one eyebrow and go like, hey, what the hell with the sense of balance? And now,
Yeah.
Now what?
One could argue, well, you're 70, you're getting up there in age, maybe things just start to break down. We start to kick out our warranty on our bodies after a while. But if you have been otherwise healthy and then suddenly feeling these symptoms, I could understand why you would look at the vaccine and wonder, gosh, did that cause those problems? Thank you so much, Jim, for sharing your story with us. 844-580-WDBO. I'm Joe Kelly. We'll continue next.
Weather brought to you by ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Connected to our community. Talk local issues and events with Joe Kelly. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let Joe know what interests you. The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO.
All right, Laurel and Beverly Bentley Steele. I have a question for you both. My question is this. Do you have ketchup at your house somewhere? Laurel, yes or no?
Yes.
You have ketchup?
Yep.
And Beverly, do you have ketchup?
In a little tiny packet.
Okay.
Just in case.
So my second question, I only have two questions. Where in your house is the ketchup?
The refrigerator.
Refrigerator. All right. Beverly?
Storage jar.
Storage jar. All right.
It's a little packet.
So I don't know if you know this, but there has been a long debate about whether or not ketchup needs to be refrigerated. And Heinz, the ketchup people, have now weighed in on this because you can, like if you go to a restaurant, I mean, the ketchup sits on the table for like months, right? I mean, it is never refrigerated. But Heinz has weighed in on this and said that the best way to store your ketchup is in the refrigerator. So for those of you who keep your ketchup in the refrigerator, you're doing it right. It's in the right place. I keep my ketchup in the refrigerator as well. All right, 844-580-WDBO. Let's go to John joining us here on the Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. John, how are you?
Joe, you're a man after my heart, man. Heinz is the only true ketchup.
It is.
Nothing else even.
Yeah, Hunt's is a bad impersonator.
Yeah, I mean, Hunt gives a little, it gets a little close in a pinch. But at the end of the day, Heinz is the only one to go with.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. Hey, Joe, listen, you're talking about all these shots and all that kind of stuff. I'm one of those people that I have never trusted the shots at all. And the main reason is that we couldn't trust anything that the conflicting stuff on the media was saying for what, a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And the very fact that they were censoring every single incredibly qualified doctor and scientist who knew the potential dangers of every one of these vaccines, they would censor all of them. They shut every one of them down. And that should have been a danger sign to a lot of people. And I even think that people who are getting sick from the vaccine, they're censoring and not letting it be known the people who are getting sick from it.
I read a figure yesterday, John, and I didn't share it because I don't know that I trust it. These days it's so hard to trust the news that you consume because you don't know if it is part of a propaganda machine. You don't know if it's AI or if it's a deep fake or whatever else. I am so suspicious of everything that I see now. But I was reading a study yesterday that said that it is believed that 31 million people worldwide died from the vaccine. That number seems high and.
Yeah, I don't trust that number either, Joe.
Yeah.
But, one other little thing that I think is a disservice of the media was the fact that there are treatments for people who get COVID, especially young people. The older and more, the more, pre-existing things you have, the more susceptible you are, of course. But there are certain treatments we heard from the very, very beginning that are extremely effective that got demonized just because Donald Trump liked them.
Ivermectin was the main one. I mean, ivermectin, come to find out, is a wonder drug that does wonderful things when it comes to healing people with COVID.
Joe, listen, I'm telling you, I got COVID once the first time. It wasn't so bad. Got it once the second time. It was actually a year ago right around now, and I had to miss out on an incredible air show and all this kind of thing. But the day after I got it, there was a wonderful doctor who I will remain unnamed in Sanford who was altruistically dispensing ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine to anybody that got COVID. And if you get hit within the first, 24 to 48 hours, I'll tell you, Joe, I was feeling horrible. This guy was able to get it to me for free. It was kind of his ministry. And I'll tell you, I took this stuff, and 24 hours after taking ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, I could have gone out there and run a 5K with no problem. It was unbelievable.
Well, and that's how I felt after I got the monoclonal antibodies. I felt so great right after. I don't think I could do a 5K. I'm no John here, but I felt really, really good. John, thank you so much. I'm so glad you called 844-580-WDBO.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO.
Beverly Bentley Steels checking our Friday drive. It is hot, man. 91 degrees right now. The heat index between 99 and 102.
Wow.
Yeah. Turn the air conditioner up.
Yeah, you think? Woo. Especially, no matter where we are in Florida, we are very lucky like that. If you're traveling on Colonial Drive, either side, you're going to find you're not so lucky. West Colonial heading westbound around the fairgrounds, there is a crash. And then on East Colonial Drive heading eastbound around Goldenrod Road, there's another wreck. And, of course, there are lots and lots of extra people in town because we are the place to be for the holiday. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Beverly Bentley Steele.
All right, Brian is joining us here on the Joe Kelly Show. Hey, Brian, thanks for calling.
Hey, Joe, what's going on? So I just wanted to contribute to the whole Amish and vaccine. I'm actually originally from Ohio, and we have a pretty high population of Amish too. I think the reason maybe why they are less affected, if you think about it, they're healthy. They are outside working all the time. They don't suffer, like their diabetes and inactiveness is so much lower and better health things than most Americans, and so. And that was one of the whole spiels about, keeping yourself healthy and whatnot. But people with, diabetes and other health issues were more prone to get and suffer, harsher symptoms of the COVID and the vaccine. So that's what I was thinking. They don't have Wi-Fi or any of anything like that.
They're not eating highly processed sugars and highly processed foods. They're eating, real meats and real vegetables, and they have a real, a healthy diet and healthy lifestyle. Right. Yeah. From their own farm, that they're not using pesticides and chemicals and everything else like that. Brian, those are all just great thoughts. I know that we love our modern technology, right? We all love our cell phones and our computers and our apps and all the other cool electronic devices that we have and our air conditioning and everything else. But I feel like we still have a little bit to learn from the Amish. I think there's something there that they could be teaching us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, granted, I remember even I grew up in the farm town and had Amish neighbors and stuff, and go over there and play on the farm and hang out with their kids growing up and stuff. So, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking maybe why they, had better luck and results with the COVID and stuff.
You may well be right. Brian, thank you so much, man. I sure appreciate you listening. Have a great weekend. Have an awesome 4th of July as well. We got a lot of open mics coming in.
Hey, Joe. I left California and the highest paying job I ever had because it was in healthcare. And I was told I had to get the vaccine or I couldn't work in the job that I was working. That's why I live in Florida now. But I have no regrets, and I would never get the jab.
844-580-WDBO or use the open mic and the WDBO app.
Man, Joe, I was so excited when I found out that you were getting a show back in the afternoon.
Who feels it here? Do you feel this? Do you guys feel, Laurel, do you feel it? Do you feel what's coming? Is there a butt? I feel like there's a butt coming, right? There's got to be a butt here.
Man, Joe, I was so excited when I found out that you were getting a show back in the afternoon, and now you're just another right-wing talking puppet, man. You're saying the same things, those dangerous words are the same things that killed so many people during the pandemic. You got to do better, man. Don't be a conspiracy Karen, dude.
Well, I appreciate you calling me a right-wing puppet. That kind of balances it out from all the people who are saying I'm a left-wing puppet. So at least I get some balance there. So thank you for that.
Hey, Joe, those results from the Amish community really don't surprise me. They live a very healthy lifestyle. They don't drink. They don't smoke. They eat very healthy. So, you get COVID, you're able to withstand it because you're not overweight and your lungs are in good shape. So it really doesn't surprise me. And that's the same with the autism. Most of the people that I know that have a kid with autism, there's a lot of alcohol involved. So it really doesn't surprise me. It's all down to the lifestyle.
I would just like the previous open micer to recognize that it wasn't me who espoused that conspiracy theory. That was an open mic. That was not me.
Hey, Joe, I took the 2 vaccine Moderna shots as you did. And by the time the boosters came around, I realized I made a mistake. I should have never taken the vaccine or never taken the shot. Now, a year and a half later, 2 years later, I'm suffering from things that I never had before from prior to taking the vaccine shot.
See, and I wonder if that is if you're having real symptoms, and I'm not doubting that you're feeling real symptoms, but I just wonder if there is a reverse placebo effect here that you're attributing every ache and pain and discomfort or whatever to the COVID vaccine. And it could just be all of us are getting old and every day is a little bit more painful than the day before.
Hi, Joe. Never got the vaccination. Very happy I didn't. Wasn't buying into all of that. Not enough research for them to jab me.
By the way, Anheuser-Busch wants your business this 4th of July. They're offering a promotion for the 4th of July where customers can get a $15 rebate on a 15-pack of Bud Light, Budweiser Select, or Budweiser Select 55, whatever that is. The beers have to be purchased between June 15th and July 8th, and the rebate will be given in the form of a prepaid card, similar to the one they offered over Memorial Day weekend. So basically, it's free beer from Bud Light if you don't have a problem drinking Bud Light. I know a lot of people have a problem drinking Bud Light. I have a problem drinking Bud Light because it's beer, and I don't like beer. Now, if it was... honestly, thank goodness that Dylan Mulvaney didn't get, like, whiskey or bourbon or something like that, because then I would be really off-put. But that it's beer, I just don't care. My name is Joe Kelly. You can join us at 844-580-WDBO. Don't forget Tuesday, I'll be out broadcasting Lake Eola Park for Independence Day. I'm excited about that. I hope you'll come out there and join me and say hi as I'm out there broadcasting live. We'll continue. I've got our USA Trivia coming up at 6 o'clock.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. Insightful.
You tell the truth from your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio.
And engaging.
When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO.
Hey there, this is Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
I'm listening to Joe here.
Hi.
Hey, Joe.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that I did get 2 vaccines, the Pfizer ones, and I have suffered with tinnitus ever since. And I have heard that was a side effect. And I'm just here to say, yep, that's happening right here.
Oh, I hate to hear that for you. Tinnitus, of course, is that ringing in the ears. Tinnitus is terrible. I've known people with tinnitus. And evidently, I've touched a nerve on ketchup tonight as well.
Hey, this is Don. I disagree with you on the ketchup. If you read the bottle, Heinz has a bunch of preservatives in it and all kinds of chemicals. If you read the bottle on Hunt's, it says nothing but pure tomatoes. Take a look and you'll see.
All right, I'll take a look. But damn, those Heinz chemicals are tasty. They're so good. I'm Joe Kelly. We'll continue. It's 4th of July weekend, Independence Day in America. And in our next hour, we're gonna have our USA Trivia. So stick around, see how much you know about this country of ours. It's next.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. Now, WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Triple Team Traffic.
Lots of backups, as you can imagine, before what is kind of the official holiday weekend, even though 4th of July is not until later. But it's still busy now. I-4 eastbound, it's solid. 3 miles before US 27 at Champions Gate and from the Osceola Parkway to past State Road 535 to the attractions area. And it's busy from the beach line to Sand Lake, at Turnpike, and then at Lee Road, and from Lake Mary to the St. Johns River Bridge. I-4 westbound, slowdowns are from Lake Mary to the rest area, heavy past Fairbanks to Colonial, then Sand Lake to 535, and solid again from the Osceola Parkway and towards Champions Gate. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Beverly Bentley Steele.
Weather brought to you by ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Breaking news to lively debates, covering the issues that matter to you.
I make it a point to listen to Joe Kelly when I need to fully understand what's happening in the news.
Now, the Joe Kelly Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Oh, man. A little bit of Sousa marches. I am so excited for the 4th of July. Independence Day. Coming up Tuesday. It is Friday. Some of you are going to have a long weekend. Some of us work Monday and Tuesday. But we have got our Friday night fun and games, and we're going to do American trivia tonight. Let me introduce our contestants. We are really short-staffed here at the radio station tonight. I think it's because it's a holiday weekend and people are taking some time off and stuff, but we don't have a whole lot of people, so we've had to recruit some people into our contest tonight from the WDBO chat thread on the WDBO Facebook page. So let me introduce everybody who is going to be playing our Friday night American USA Trivia. First and foremost, Laurel, who, by the way, I don't know if you guys realize this, Laurel is doing triple duty tonight. Laurel is anchoring the news live. She's running the control board and screening all of the phone calls. Wow.
Yeah. I'm like an octopus with
And-
all my arms.
And I trust you're getting paid triple for that, right? For doing 3 jobs?
Somebody contact Keith.
Yes, we'll
Tell
get
him.
him on the line right away. So we've got Laurel. We've got Beverly Bentley Steele, who has been doing traffic this week for Paul Cross. Hello, Beverly Bentley Steele.
Hello, Joe Kelly. I kind of resent that you're really trying to scrape in the bottom of the barrel, getting people, and I'm one of those.
No. You're here, so you would have been playing anyway. So
Okay, so just because I'm here.
All right, now we're going to go to the phones where Karen is joining us. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi, Joe. Hi, Laura Lee. This is exciting for me.
We're very excited to have you. And Chris is joining us on the phones as well. Hi, Chris.
Hey, everyone.
All right, you guys
How
ready
you
for
doing?
some American trivia questions? Okay, so as soon as you know the answer, shout out your name and I'll call on you, okay?
This is going to sound so silly.
So shout out your name and I'll call on you as soon as you know the answer. Question number 1, in what city did the Tea Party of 1773 take place?
Beverly. Boston.
Did you say Austin?
No, Boston.
Oh, yeah, because it's not Austin, it's Boston. Yes, it's Boston. Good job, Beverly. You get 1 point. Next question. Who was the first female vice president?
We already got that up.
Beverly.
Karen?
All right, Karen.
Is it Kamala Harris?
It is Kamala Harris. Yes, that's exactly right. Good job. Laurel, I notice you're not answering any of these questions.
I have to. I'm doing too many things.
Okay. In what city did the 1692 witch trial take place? Beverly.
Salem,
Massachusetts. You're absolutely right. Beverly, are you going to get them all right?
I hope to think I'm
Beverly-
not just a traffic reporter.
Beverly is Paul Cross, isn't she? Because Paul Cross always gets them all right. All right, next question. From where did the Mayflower sail? From where? Where did it sail from?
Not
Karen.
Chris, where?
England. Oh.
England.
It is England. So I'll give you guys both a point, Karen and Chris. All right, next question. How many countries do the United States... Now, I want you to think hard about this one. How many countries do the United States share a border with?
Two.
Karen,
go ahead.
2?
Are you sure about that?
Oh, share a border with, no, I'm not sure.
I'm trying to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. You're absolutely right. It's 2. I was just messing with you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought there was.
I do that.
3.
I do that sometimes. All right, this one. Honestly, I think this one's going to be a little bit harder, and I'll be surprised if anybody gets this. Who are the 4 U.S. presidents on Mount Rushmore?
Oh.
Beverly. All right, let me think carefully. Washington.
Yes.
Lincoln.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's Teddy Roosevelt with the glasses.
Yes.
And, oh, no. Oh, Jackson.
No.
Oh.
Who else knows this?
Karen, is it,
You only need to know one of them. We got George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln. Who's the 4th person? Who's the 4th president?
Mm-hmm.
Moving on up.
Franklin?
To the top.
I'll just say Adams.
Was that a bad hint that I just gave? Moving on up.
Great. It was great. Can I add
Yes,
it now?
Beverly.
That's Jefferson.
Right, the Jeffersons are moving on up, moving on up. Yes, it's Jefferson. So none of you guys get that right. What was the first national park in the United States? Karen.
Yellowstone.
How did you know that? That's good. Very good.
I don't know.
Very impressive.
At Disney, they have
you hear me?
the American Adventure, and that's where I know it from.
We can hear you, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's the next question. What is Franklin Roosevelt's middle name?
Beverly.
Karen.
Chris.
All right, Beverly, you're up first.
I think it's Delano.
Delano it is. That's exactly right.
Yes.
All right, now hang on. We're getting another hard one. What were the original 13 states? Chris, go ahead.
On the East Coast.
That's correct. Is that your answer?
Yeah.
No.
Where?
I need 13 answers. What were the original 13 states?
Oh.
You know what? I'll accept 5 if you can give me 5 of the 13.
All right. New York, Maryland, Massachusetts.
You got 3 right.
North Carolina, Virginia.
That's 5. You got it. Congratulations, Chris.
Wow.
Very nicely done. What was the last state to join the Union? Chris.
Oh, now I'm between 2.
That's right. It's between. It's between 2. You're right.
Alaska.
Oh, you picked the wrong one of the 2.
Karen.
Karen, what's the answer?
Hawaii.
Hawaii is the right answer. That's right.
Oh.
All right.
Good job, Karen.
On which island is the Statue of Liberty? Karen.
Long Island.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
On which island is the Statue of Liberty?
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Staten Island?
That is also incorrect. It's a very small island that pretty much just has the Statue of Liberty. Beverly.
Is it Ellis Island?
It is not Ellis Island.
Oh.
Laurel, you're the only one left. Come on, Laurel. Where is the Statue of Liberty located?
Liberty Island.
Liberty Island is exactly right. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
And congratulations, Laurel. You're now on the scoreboard for the first time today.
Woo-hoo.
All right, next question. What does the D.C. in Washington, D.C. stand for?
Chris.
Karen.
Chris, go ahead.
District of Columbia.
District of Columbia.
Chris, that's what I was going to say.
That's exactly right. All right, next question. Who was the last president to die in office?
Oh, guy got shot.
Beverly.
No.
Beverly.
Yes, Chris.
Hang on, Beverly was up first.
You might have a chance, Chris. I think it's McKinley.
All right, Chris. Beverly is wrong. Chris.
John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy is exactly
of
right.
course.
How did you guys forget about John F. Kennedy?
Duh.
Okay, this is going to be one of those tricky state questions again. Are you ready? What states make up New England?
Chris. Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut. I don't know if that's right.
No. Those 4 are right. Go. Keep going.
New York.
That one's wrong. Hang on. You give me another guess because you've got 4 of them right, and if you get 5 right, that's good enough for me.
I know what it is. No.
What is the smallest? What is the smallest state in America?
Oh, Long Island.
No, that's not a state.
No, what is that?
I know
Rhode
it.
Island.
Rhode Island. Rhode Island is it? Yes.
Yes.
So the states that make up New England are Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island.
Long Island.
All right, Long Island. Come on
What
now.
a dummy.
Come on.
Dummy.
All right, I think you guys are all going to get this one wrong. Are you ready? What is the longest river in the United States?
Beverly.
Beverly.
Chris.
Beverly's first.
I think it's the Mississippi.
Beverly, you are wrong.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Chris, what is it?
That's what I was going to say.
Karen.
Karen, what is it?
Salmon.
The Ohio River.
That is also incorrect.
Oh.
Laurel?
The Monongahela?
The Monongahela. Is that a river in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in Pittsburgh.
I will tell you that Marie in the chat has it right. Marie has the Missouri River, and it is the Missouri River.
Marie.
Honestly, I would have said Mississippi, too. I did not know. I would not have got that one right. So there you go. Do we have enough time? Yes, we do. Okay. What was the first capital of the United States of America?
Beverly?
Beverly?
I think it was Richmond.
Richmond? That is incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first capital of America, of the United States of America?
Chris. New York City, New York.
New York City, New York. That is exactly right. I would not have guessed that.
Oh.
I would have guessed something differently.
Wow.
But it is New York. I would have guessed Philadelphia. But yeah, you're right. All right. In which city were the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution signed?
Karen.
Karen.
Pennsylvania.
That
Philadelphia.
Okay, Philadelphia. That is right. Yes. Very good. I already said what is the smallest state, and that was actually my next question. What is...
Beverly.
Yeah, thank you, Beverly. I already gave out the answer to that one. Smart Alec. What is the oldest city in the United States of America?
Chris.
Karen.
Chris.
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine, Florida. Isn't that crazy that the oldest city in America is St. Augustine, Florida?
Very cool.
That blows my mind. I love St. Augustine. Very, very nicely done. All right. How many sitting U.S. presidents were assassinated? Beverly.
I believe 3.
Incorrect. How many
Karen.
sitting U.S. presidents? Karen.
2.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
How many U.S. presidents were assassinated?
Chris.
What did you say?
4.
4 is the right answer. You're absolutely right.
Ah.
How many years, this one surprised me, how many years did Prohibition last?
Laurel.
Laurel!
Sure. It was something like 21 years.
No, that is incorrect. Sorry, Laurel.
It just felt that long.
Chris, 2 years.
Chris, it is not 2 years. Anybody else have
Karen?
a guess? Karen?
10.
That is the closest guess so far. The correct answer is 13 years. I would not have got that one right. So hang on, we're going to continue our 4th of July United States of America trivia coming up next. We've got our contestants on the line with us, and we will continue with the questions. You can always join our video feed right now on the WDBO Facebook page, where everybody is putting their answers there as well if you want to join us online on the WDBO Facebook page. My name is Joe Kelly. You are thankfully listening to The Joe Kelly Show here on WDBO.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. Join the conversation now by using the open mic in the WDBO app. Now, the Joe Kelly Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
Well, we are loving on America tonight as it's Independence Day coming up next week, and we're going to be out broadcasting live Tuesday, the Joe Kelly Show, out at Lake Eola Park in downtown Orlando. I'm very excited about that, and it is Friday night. It's hot as Hades outside. Even though I'm wearing a jacket, Laurel and I are both wearing jackets inside because it's so cold in our studios. It'll be a real shock to the system when we walk outside the building in a little while. But we're doing our 4th of July American Trivia. And joining us is our traffic reporter, Beverly Bentley Steele, and listeners Chris and Karen, who are joining us on the phones. And let me get some Sousa music back here. Okay, we got to have the theme music. Now, you ready for the next question? Here it is. What is if you know the answer, shout out your name, and I'll call on you. What is the name of the theater where President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth? Karen.
Karen.
Ford's Theater. For extra credit, does Ford's Theater still exist?
Beverly.
Yes,
it does.
It does still exist. You can go there as part of a tour and see where Abraham Lincoln was shot and everything else like that. They still have events there every now and again at Ford's Theater.
I mean, if they show the same play.
I don't know that they show the same play. That would perhaps be in bad
Sorry
taste
if
there.
you hear my baby boy.
I do hear him. What's his name?
Axel.
Axel?
That's cool.
Now I want to go back and rename my kids. Doggone it. All right, here's your
You could
next.
follow the Jenners.
Here's your. That's right. Here's your next question. Shout out your name if you know it. Who was the first president to be impeached?
Beverly?
Karen.
Beverly?
Clinton?
That is not correct. Karen?
Andrew Jackson?
Oh, that is not correct.
Oh, no.
Chris.
Reagan. What? No.
I have no idea. I
Laurel.
don't know. I'm just
Laurel.
Nixon.
What? Neither Reagan nor Nixon were impeached.
I was with Chris. We were just in the guest booth.
Was any
Yeah.
president impeached?
Guys, there was a Broadway musical about this, sort of.
Hamilton.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think he was a president.
Why
No, he wasn't.
Why do I even try? It was President Andrew Johnson. In 1868.
Oh, yeah.
He was impeached.
come on.
Now, I don't think anybody's going to know this one. This is going to be a hard one, but I wanted to ask it nonetheless. Who was the first African American senator? Chris.
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. Nope. In fact, this is why I think no one will know this, because you got to go back to 1870, which is remarkable to think that slaves were freed. Slaves were freed in the 1860s, and by 1870, a black man was a United States senator. His name was Hiram Rhodes Revels. Took the oath of office in 1870. All right, we got a few more questions left. Y'all hang on. We will continue our Friday night fun and games with our American trivia coming up next.
Weather brought to you by ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Talk and discussion on the latest breaking national news.
Crude oil prices continue to fall.
Local news.
You're not going to have Disney have its own government in Central Florida.
And stories that matter to you. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let your voice be heard on The Joe Kelly Show.
Friday night. It's our fun and games on a Friday night, and we've got a USA trivia questions for you. Our contestants: Laurel, Karen, Chris, Beverly, and me, Joe.
Hey.
I'm not really a contestant, though, am I? Because I already have all the answers. We've got 5 questions left.
Peter.
I know. All right, 5 questions left. Are you ready? Here we go. Who was the first United States president to appear on television? Chris.
FDR.
That actually is right. Yes.
Woo.
Very good.
Chris, good job.
Good job, Chris.
I don't know that I would have got that one right. Okay, now next question. We're going to touch on something we've already touched on. We had a question earlier. How many presidents have been assassinated while in office? Now this question is, name them.
How many did we decide there were?
I love Karen. We decided there's 4, so I need 4 names. And you probably know the first one and the last one. It's the middle two. It's the middle 2 that are trickier. So who is the first one? Everybody.
Is it McKinley?
No.
Lincoln?
The one in the 1800s.
Lincoln was the first one.
Lincoln was the first one. And who was the last one?
JFK,
right.
Kennedy.
So who are the middle 2?
That's the hard part.
I know. That's why I said that.
So,
I don't know.
Laurel?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, the middle two are James Garfield and William McKinley.
So I did get McKinley.
wow.
Yeah, you
Just
did
didn't
say
get it in the right
McKinley.
order.
Right. All right. 2 sets of fathers and sons have served as presidents. What are their names?
Beverly.
Beverly.
Adams.
Okay, you're going to have to be a
Yeah.
little bit more specific.
All right, John Quincy. And John?
Okay. There's 2 sets. Name 2 sets.
Oh, and then Bush.
That's right, the Bushes. Can you be more specific?
George.
George
W.
All right, I'll give it to you.
No, it's
I know. All right, here's your second to the last question. This will be the easiest one yet, I promise you. What is the call sign of the president's helicopter?
Oh, I didn't even hear at the end of it.
What is the call sign of the president's helicopter?
Karen.
Dang it.
Karen.
Eagle.
Sorry?
Eagle?
Eagle is incorrect. What is the call sign of the president's helicopter? I said this was the easiest one. Come on.
Beverly.
Oh, my goodness.
Beverly.
Is it Air Force 2?
No, it is not. Laurel, do you know this one? What
It's Screaming Eagle.
No. Oh, God.
I guess.
Hold on.
Easy.
Hold on.
Has everybody guessed? Okay.
No.
In the comment threads, we're getting the right answer. Marie knows it. Frank knows it. It's actually
Marine 1.
Marie wrote Marie 1, so that's not quite right. It's Marine 1. Marine 1 is the name. You guys know that. Come on now.
Now we do.
All right,
No, we did.
here is your last question. Are you ready for your last question?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you the city, but I'll ask you the state. What state is the geographical center of the United States population?
Ooh.
Chris.
Kansas.
Good guess. Wrong.
Boo.
Beverly.
Beverly.
Missouri
is right. Yes.
Wow.
So close.
Beverly.
So close to Kansas. You almost had it. Well, according to my calculations, and if I have calculated this right, which I'm sure I have not, but Karen and Chris both have 7 points and both win. So Karen and Chris, congratulations. Just reach on into the WDBO prize box and grab out anything that you want. And we don't have a prize. We don't have a prize box. I'm sorry. I'm now being told we don't have a prize box.
Oh,
I am so sorry.
Somebody needs to get a prize box around there.
I know. But Karen and Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the air.
Oh, it's been fun.
Please tell Axel how much we appreciated having him on with us as well. Would you, Chris?
He said, all right, thank you.
Okay. See you guys. Thank you so much for checking in and for calling tonight here on our Friday night fun and games. We do have some other stuff to cover here tonight. Let's talk about Vanna White for a few minutes. I guess I could kill the Sousa marches. So Vanna White, this is really interesting about Vanna White. So she has been a part of the Wheel of Fortune since 1982. 1982. And now that Pat Sajak says he's retiring, and they've already announced his replacement in Ryan Seacrest, suddenly now Vanna White comes forward and says that since 1982, she has never received a pay increase. Now you're saying it? You've been doing it since 1982, and you waited till 2023 to say that you've never had a pay increase? And so her agent now is holding out. Now, she is said to make $3 million a year. Sajak makes $15 million a year. I'd be willing to bet that Ryan Seacrest is going to make 20, 25, 30. I bet he's going to make more than Pat Sajak. But, you know, when they talk about the glass ceiling and how women don't get paid as much as men, it is so important, ladies, to ask for a pay increase. You have to ask for a pay increase. Few managers will give pay increases, particularly substantial pay increases, to people who don't ask for them. So now Vanna White's agent is asking for $7.5 million, but Sony Pictures Television Studios has yet to agree to the terms. Honestly, who wants to see Vanna White flipping letters with Ryan Seacrest? If you're going to get rid of, if Pat Sajak is retiring, don't you kind of feel like Vanna White needs to retire too? The whole kit and caboodle. Everything has to go. The manager's out of town. We're going crazy. Everything must go. I feel like Vanna White, this is a perfect time for her to retire as well. Maybe they can give her a golden parachute and she can retire. But I feel like, first of all, since they no longer flip letters on the show, though that is long gone, she just taps the letters now. She's not really even needed. One could easily argue that she was overpaid by getting $3 million a year, but I don't believe that, because I believe you should be paid whatever the market is willing to bear, and I'm sure the market was willing to bear more than $3 million a year for Vanna White. But I think she's foolish to ask for this money now. I also think it was foolish for Sony Pictures Television Studios to so quickly announce that Ryan Seacrest is replacing Pat Sajak. I think that was kind of the word I want to use is the D word move. I think it's a D move, because Pat Sajak, love him or hate him, and I'm more the latter than the former. I think Pat Sajak is one of the worst television hosts on TV. Pat Sajak has been so bored hosting The Wheel of Fortune for so long now, since 1982. It's his 41st season, so for 41 years, Pat Sajak was good for probably the first 10 years. And for the last 31 years, he's been bored. And when the host is bored, the host is boring. And Pat Sajak is terrible. But that having been said, I just think it was disrespectful to Pat Sajak to so quickly announce his replacement. I mean, instead of Pat Sajak, rolling off a little bit of a high here, and Pat Sajak going around and doing the morning show interviews and stuff, suddenly it's Ryan Seacrest. I mean, Ryan Seacrest is the one out doing interviews talking about Wheel of Fortune now, and I just think that was kind of a D move on behalf of Sony Pictures and the Wheel of Fortune towards Pat Sajak. But now that he's gone, I think they ought to find a way to exit Vanna White as well. I think it's time for her to head out as well. Coming up next, did you know that the South Park creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker have a Mexican restaurant in Colorado, and it's a big deal? It's like a really big deal, and they have now eliminated tipping. Wait till you hear what they're going to pay their employees. I'll have that for you next.
The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO. In-depth segments on topics that matter to Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. The Joe Kelly Show on WDBO.
I love your show every night. You're doing great, bud.
All right, well, we are regrettably out of time here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on a Friday night. And we hope you have a great, safe weekend. If you're going to play with fireworks, make sure that by next week you still have 10 fingers and 10 toes. All right, make sure you're really, really careful. Watch your kids. Make sure the kids are safe. Keep it a bucket of water and a fire extinguisher handy. And have a great, safe, and hopefully cool weekend inside in air conditioning. And we'll catch up with you guys on Monday. Love you guys so much. Thanks for listening to WDBO.